Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Labyrinth of Lost Souls in Carisbrooke Castle. Holly Arnold had always been fascinated by tales of the supernatural. As an archaeologist specializing in medieval history, she had come across numerous legends, but none intrigued her as much as the one surrounding Carisbrooke Castle on the Isle of Wight. Rumours spoke of a hidden labyrinth deep within the forest near the castle, a maze that was said to be a gateway to the realm of the dead. When Holly received a grant to explore this labyrinth, she jumped at the chance. Holly assembled a small team of experts: Dr. Mark Sanders, a historian, Claire Matthews, an experienced spelunker, and Thomas Green, a tech-savvy researcher. They arrived at Carisbrooke Castle on a cold, misty morning. The castle loomed over them, its ancient stones whispering secrets of the past. The locals were wary of the labyrinth, warning Holly and her team of the dangers within. Many have gone in, but few have returned, an old man at the local pub told them, his voice trembling. Those who do come back are never the same. Undeterred, Holly led her team into the forest. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon a concealed entrance hidden beneath overgrown vines and moss. The air grew colder as they stepped inside, the entrance ceiling shut behind them with an ominous thud. The labyrinth was a maze of dark, narrow passages lined with damp stone walls. The air was thick with the scent of earth and decay. As they ventured deeper, the silence was broken only by the echo of their footsteps and the occasional drip of water from the ceiling. They soon encountered the first of the lost souls. A spectral figure appeared before them, a woman dressed in tattered medieval garments. Her eyes were hollow, her face etched with sorrow. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I was betrayed by those I loved." Holly's heart ached for the ghostly figure, but there was nothing they could do. The woman vanished as quickly as she had appeared, leaving behind an icy chill. As they pressed on, they encountered more souls, each with their own tragic story. There was Sir Geoffrey, a knight who had been falsely accused of treason and executed. His spirit roamed the labyrinth, seeking vengeance on those who had wronged him. Lady Elena, a noble woman, had been poisoned by her jealous sister and now wandered the maze, endlessly searching for justice. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The walls seemed to close in on them, the air growing colder with each step. The labyrinth itself seemed to be alive, shifting and changing to confuse and trap them. One night, as they rested in a small chamber, they were awakened by a blood-curdling scream. Rushing towards the sound, they found Claire missing. Frantic, they searched for her, but it was as if she had vanished into thin air. Her equipment lay scattered on the ground, her flashlight flickering weakly. Desperation set in as they realized the labyrinth was playing with them. Mark began to unravel, muttering to himself and scribbling incoherently in his notebook. Thomas, normally calm and collected, started having violent outbursts, claiming he could hear the whispers of the dead urging him to join them. One by one, Holly's team succumbed to the labyrinth's malevolent influence. Mark disappeared into the darkness, his deranged laughter echoing through the halls. Thomas was last seen running down a passage, screaming that he had found the way out, only to vanish without a trace. Holly was left alone, the weight of the labyrinth's horrors bearing down on her. She stumbled upon a large, circular chamber at the heart of the maze. In the center stood an ancient stone altar covered in strange runes. As she approached, the air grew colder, and she felt an unseen force pulling her towards it. The ghosts of the lost souls surrounded her, their mournful eyes watching her every move. "You must set us free," they chanted in unison, their voices echoing through the chamber. Holly realized that the altar was the key to breaking the labyrinth's curse. Summoning all her courage, she began to decipher the runes, her fingers trembling as she traced the ancient symbols. The air crackled with energy as she spoke the final incantation, the ground beneath her shaking violently. A blinding light filled the chamber, and the souls began to dissipate, their anguished cries turning to sighs of relief. The labyrinth itself seemed to convulse, the walls crumbling as the curse was lifted. Holly awoke outside the entrance, the sun shining brightly overhead. The labyrinth was gone, reduced to rubble. She was the sole survivor, haunted by the memories of her lost team and the souls she had encountered. She returned to Carisbrooke Castle, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what had transpired. The locals regarded her as a mixture of awe and fear, whispering that she had been touched by the supernatural. Holly spent the rest of her life researching the labyrinth, determined to uncover its origins and ensure that its horrors would never be forgotten. Though the labyrinth of lost souls was gone, its dark legacy lived on, a chilling reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. As Holly aged, she often felt a cold presence around her, a reminder of the spirit she had freed. She came to believe that they were watching over her, grateful for her bravery. Yet, in the dead of night, when the wind howled through the ancient stones of Carisbrooke Castle, she could still hear the faint whispers of the lost souls, their tragic stories forever etched in her mind. As Holly aged, she often felt a cold presence around her, a reminder of the spirit she had freed. She came to believe that they were watching over her, grateful for her bravery. Yet, in the dead of night, when the wind howled through the ancient stones of Carisbrooke Castle, she could still hear the faint whispers of the lost souls, their tragic stories forever etched in her mind. Years passed, and Holly became somewhat of a recluse, her days spent immersed in her research and her nights haunted by the ghosts of the labyrinth. She had written countless papers and given numerous lectures, but nothing could shake the eerie feeling that lingered within her. She often visited the ruins of the labyrinth, now a sunken patch of forest floor, overgrown with wildflowers and ivy. It was a place of peace and sorrow, a monument to those who had been trapped within its walls. One evening, as the sun set and cast long shadows over the forest, Holly decided to visit the ruins once more. It was the anniversary of her team's disappearance, and she felt an inexplicable pull to the site. She walked slowly, her footsteps crunching on the fallen leaves, the air growing cooler as she approached. As she neared the ruins, she noticed something strange. A figure stood in the center of the clearing, shrouded in mist. Holly's heart raced as she recognized the spectral form of Claire Matthews, her face serene yet distant. Holly's breath caught in her throat as Claire's ghostly form began to speak. "Holly," Claire whispered, her voice carried on the breeze. "Thank you for freeing us, but there is more you must do." Holly stepped closer, her hand trembling. "What do you mean?" "Claire, the labyrinth was only one gateway," Claire replied. "There are others scattered across the world. The souls trapped within them need your help." Holly's mind reeled. The labyrinth of Carisbrooke was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. "But how can I find them?" she asked. "Listen to the whispers of the dead," Claire said, her form beginning to fade. "They will guide you." With that, Claire vanished, leaving Holly alone in the clearing. The sun had fully set, and the forest was bathed in an eerie twilight. Holly knew what she had to do. She returned to her home, packed her belongings, and set off on a new journey, guided by the whispers of the lost souls. Her quest took her to remote corners of the globe, forgotten temples in the jungles of South America, abandoned villages in Eastern Europe, ancient ruins in the deserts of Africa. Each location held its own labyrinth, and within each, Holly encountered souls trapped by curses, betrayal, and tragedy. She deciphered ancient texts, unraveled complex puzzles, and faced unimaginable horrors, all the while driven by a sense of duty and a desire to bring peace to the tormented spirits. Years turned into decades, and Holly's name became legend among those who studied the supernatural. She grew older, her hair turning silver and her movements slower, but her resolve remained unshaken. She had freed countless souls, yet she knew her journey was far from over. One fateful day, while exploring an ancient cave system in the Himalayas, Holly stumbled upon the final labyrinth. It was a place of pure darkness, its passages winding deeper into the earth than any she had encountered before. The air was thick with malevolent energy, and the walls seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Holly pressed on, her flashlight cutting through the gloom. She encountered spirits more tormented than any she had seen before, their forms twisted and grotesque. Each one reached out to her, their pleas for release growing more desperate. At the heart of the labyrinth, she found an ancient altar similar to the one at Carisbrooke. This time, however, it was guarded by a being of immense power, a wraith-like figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. "You cannot free them," the wraith hissed, its voice echoing through the chamber. "They are mine." Holly stood her ground, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. I have freed countless souls. I will free these as well." The wraith laughed, a sound that sent chills down Holly's spine. "You are but a mortal. What makes you think you can challenge me?" Holly took a deep breath, her mind racing. She knew that brute force would not win this battle. Instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out the ancient texts she had collected over the years. She began to chant, her voice growing stronger with each word. The wraith recoiled, its form flickering. "No," it screamed. "You cannot," but Holly continued, her chant resonating with the power of all the souls she had freed. The chamber shook, and a blinding light filled the space. The wraith let out a final, agonized scream before dissipating into nothingness. As the light faded, Holly collapsed to the ground, exhausted but triumphant. The spirits around her began to dissolve, their expressions of torment replaced by relief. One by one, they vanished, their souls finally at peace. Holly lay on the cold stone floor, her strength ebbing away. She knew that she had completed her mission, that she had freed the last of the lost souls. As her vision dimmed, she felt a sense of contentment wash over her. She had dedicated her life to this cause, and now she could rest. In her final moments, Holly heard the faint whispers of gratitude from the souls she had saved. She closed her eyes, a smile on her lips, and let the darkness take her. When she awoke, she found herself in a place of light and warmth, surrounded by the spirits she had freed. They greeted her with smiles and open arms, their forms no longer twisted by pain and suffering. "Welcome, Holly," Claire said, stepping forward. "You have done more than anyone could have asked. It is time for you to rest." Holly nodded, tears of joy in her eyes. She had finally found peace, not just for the lost souls, but for herself as well. And as she joined the spirits in their eternal rest, she knew that her legacy would live on, a testament to the power of compassion and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.